There's no storm we can outrun. We will always find the sun. Leave the past and all its scars. A happy beginning now is ours. A happy beginning now is ours. Welcome to our Once Upon a Time. Welcome to our Once Upon a Time marathon. I purposely started singing because I wanted to be interesting in the first few seconds before someone scrolled away. But yeah, I like starting YouTube first so we can get most of the live stream on YouTube forever while Facebook deletes it after a month. Anyway, a few seconds is not really worth this, but anyway, I always like starting YouTube first and ending YouTube last. YouTube gets the entire recording while Facebook loses the first few seconds and the last few seconds. That's just how I roll. Um, but yes, welcome to our live stream for Facebook and YouTube now. And yeah, like I said, I've seen the show, so I know the songs. But we are watching the musical episode today. Once upon a time, an evil queen cast a powerful curse that trapped every single fairy tale character we ever known to our world. Only one knows the truth, and only one knew that broke the spell. Emma Swan, the main character of the entire show, who may not be the main character for long. But anyway, more on that when we get to season 7. um, but yes, the Savior's prophecy states that, the Savior is destined to break a curse. Not always the case, actually, because Aladdin didn't have to, and not every savior, anyway. But he still had to save Agrabah, just like Emma had to save Storybrooke. So anyway, yes, they're destined to save city after city, town after town, people after people, saving everyone's happy endings, both personally and publicly. And the destiny comes with a price. As all you know, magic comes with a price, and the price of being the savior is death. They fight, they face one final villain, one final battle, and in sacrifice, they give their own life to save everyone's happily ever after. However, Emma's been trying to spend all of season avoiding her fate. Will she finally find a way to avoid this fate? Or will she actually die in the final battle? We're close to finding out because today, as we watch season 6, episodes 18, 19, 20. How many episodes a season are there? Only 22. So, anyway, so after today's episodes, with episode 20 being the musical episode, we only got 2 episodes left. Now I bet you're wondering, we watch 3 episodes every Sunday. How does that work? Well, remember those Once Upon a Time specials I told you about? Well, our first one was in the beginning, right before we started season 2. It was called Magic is Coming, when Rumpelstiltskin first brought magic to this world. Then we had another Once Upon a Time special later in the season. It was after episode 18, finding out ironic that in season 6, we're watching episode 18 in just a few minutes. But anyway, but season 2, episode 18, there was another Once Upon a Time special. And, it was called The Price of Magic. Yes, so pretty much it was a magic season. Then, and I'm trying to pull up the show as I'm talking. So anyway, then Journey to Neverland was season 3. That's when we started the half season arcs. Remember? So the second half of season 3 was Wicked is Coming. Then the first half, the first episode to kick us off, was Storybrooke Has Frozen Over. Then Secrets of Storybrooke for the Queens of Darkness. Then it was Dark Swan Rises, a Once Upon a Time fan celebration. That was a long title for the Dark Swan arc. There was no special for the Underworld arc, sadly. But hey, we did celebrate with the 100th episode, so maybe that's considered special. But when I'm talking about special episodes, I'm talking about recap specials, behind the scenes footage, and like okay, this is more of like bonus features, right? But like it's not necessarily what you think. It's not watching like a DVD version and watching bonus features. No. They literally put behind the scenes footage together to make one episode. Like it's literally an episode length. Like, have you seen TV shows where you watch a plot and storyline and it's really good, and then some point in the middle of the season they decide to stop it all to do a behind the scenes episode where the cast break character and they actually tell you what it's like. I've seen this. It's Girl Meets World. If you watch the 17th episode of season 3, I believe they do that. Girl Meets World fans even come to the set to celebrate. Anyway, you can have an episode of behind the scenes. Anyway, If you still don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know how else to put it. But basically, that's what these things are, except they're not considered as part of the season or episodes. They're actually recaps that ABC produced to prepare, because like when you watch a Once Upon a Time season, um, a season ends and you wait 4 months for the next season. And let's say you don't watch it on Netflix, you don't watch the recent season, you come back in the fall and you're wondering, wait, what happened in this last season finale? You need a refresher, right? And same thing with mid-season finales. You have a Christmas episode and then you wait till March. What do you need? A recap, right? Anyway, so yeah, these behind the scenes episodes are meant to actually be more styled as a recap. It's more of a recap of what happened in previous seasons more than what it's just over the years after doing recap special after recap special, they they get tired of providing the same old recap that starts with Once Upon a Time an Evil Queen cast a curse, right? And so they try to twist it up a little bit by like not just recapping what happened previously, but giving you insights on the upcoming season, or they give you great behind the scenes footage. Like it's really good. We went from a full on recap hosted by an actor from Once Upon a Time to no recap at all to just Q&A questions that still kind of sum up the previous seasons. So it's like, sometimes the show gets too long that you can't recap everything anyway. Even if you're just going to recap only the recent season, it gets old. Even if the recap's different. Anyway, so it's nice that they make things different. If you notice from the Dark Swan Rises a Once Upon a Time fan celebration, that's when we started the Q&A thing. And so, fans ask questions. It's kind of like a panel, but it's in episode 43-minute form. Anyway, so yes, we did not have one for the Underworld though. And then season 6 comes along and it's called Evil Reigns Once More. And that's the first season since season 3 that they're not doing half season arcs anymore. We've been on the final battle since episode 1. So we've been on the Untold Stories as well, and you can kind of say that kind of wrapped up after Captain Nemo in episode 6. So some storylines were less, but they weren't a half a season. They were like only a few episodes long. And like even with the Evil Queen, um, she is probably the only thing you can consider a half a season. But even when we turned her into a snake, she came back in the second half and we defeated her again. So she's kind of like the Korra, where we defeat Korra in the Enchant Forest, but then she finds her way to Storybrooke and we defeat her in episode 16. Like, this is kind of, season 6 is like a mirror image of season 2. Except the Evil Queen got defeated in episode 14, not 16. And then, of course, around episode 16, the Black Fairy came. And, if you remember Greg and Tomorrow, the people from the real world, Greg showed up in episode 12 of season 2, and Tomorrow showed up in episode 18. So, anyway, their plot kind of started. And again, we had a flashback of Greg when he was a little boy in around episode 17 of season 2. So it's again perfect. Kind of sets up that storyline. So Black Fairy storyline kind of started around episode 16, 17. Like anyway, it's kind of the same format where like remember how season 2 was all over the place. There was multiple arcs, Rumpel finding his son, trapped in another world for 9 episodes. There was a giant coming into town. Anyway, there's so much going on. That's what season 6 is like. So much going on. You have Untold Stories, the Evil Queen, and then you have like the Black Fairy and the final battle. And then I don't know if you want to count Hyde really, but he's kind of just he kind of blends with the Untold Stories, but he's one of the first we saw in the season finale of season 5. So anyway, the Mr. Hyde storyline. There's a lot. Season 6 is a messed up season, just like season 2. And then I'm not going to spoil season 7, but season 7 is a lot like season 1. We're kind of going backwards, given the fact we're at the end of the show now. We're kind of going backwards. We're going from a messy plot season to a one big giant arc season, and no more half season arcs. So, with that said, I think it's time to get started at 6:59. But let me just tell you, Evil Reigns Once More was our last recap special. There's only one more left, and it's called The Final Battle Begins. It's another Q&A, just like the Dark Swan Rises and Evil Reigns Once More. So anyway, so yes, next Sunday, tonight we have 3 episodes all ready for us. Wicked Witch, Black Fairy has a deep secret she's going to expose. And then finally we have the musical episode. But next week, with there only being 2 episodes left of the season, we have a special episode, a special recap. It's kind of funny because this aired exactly 1 week after the musical episode. So why did they do a recap special? Well, this one's less about a recap and more about where the show started and where it's like not ended, but like okay, let me explain. Season 6 is technically the it's technically the Storybrooke finale, not series finale. I was going to call it series finale, but not really. They didn't know they were getting a season 7 until a day before season 6 finale aired. And so to them this was almost like a series finale, and they prepped it as such because they didn't know if the network was going to renew it. It's better safe than sorry, that, you know. So anyway, and what's funny is that because they already filmed it and everything, yes, season 6 finale has a cliffhanger. So maybe you're wondering, oh, it's a good thing they did a season 7 because I want everything to be tied up, right? But no, 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 no. Let me explain. The cliffhanger of the end of season 6 is actually an open book. Do you remember Back to the Future when Marty and Duck at the end of the movie they time travel, they hop into a time machine? It plot reveal, plot reveal shows that the DeLorean can actually fly, and it goes into the future, and then you roll credits. Bob Gill mentioned originally they didn't plan on a sequel. That was just a joke. You can think of the season 6 finale as a joke. I'm not going to spoil it, but when we get to it next week, okay, when we get to it next week, you can kind of treat the cliffhanger as a joke because it's an open-ended cliffhanger. It's not a cliffhanger where it's like, oh, they didn't live happily ever after. No, they do live happily ever after, but the cliffhanger is kind of like an open book for like a future television show to pick up. Like, unfortunately they got renewed, so they had to do it within this show. But like, fine, let me admit it. It's called a reboot, okay? You know what a reboot is, where they reset the entire thing. They have new characters, new city, no more Storybrooke, new real world location, new, like, a whole different show. You seen Full House, you seen Fuller House, you seen Boy Meets World, you seen Girl Meets World. It's kind of like that, except because they got renewed, the reboot is not its own series. It's part of the original show. You are probably not going to like season 7 if you compare it to the first 6 seasons, but you will like it. You might like it more if you treat season 7 as its own show. Just like Once Upon a Time in Wonderland, it's its own show. It's its own season 1. And so anyway, so like I said, yes, season 6 has a cliffhanger, but it's not what you think. It's not like, they do wrap up all storylines because they thought this was going to be the end of the series. They're setting it up to do so. Didn't you just hear Isaac last week, the author of Henry's book, say that it's the final chapter and the savior fights to the death? No one wants to be around to see that. Like they really set it up. So anyway, yes. So after we watch the episode tonight, even the trailer says the final quest, the final battle, the final, even the trailer teased it as a series. Well, they said season finale in the title card, but they treated it as a series finale by saying everything was final. But anyway, it may be the final chapter of Storybrooke, but it's not the final chapter of Once Upon a Time because we got a reboot coming. And I've been sending a pull out for you guys if you want to do the reboot. I haven't got not a lot of you voted, but some of you did. I'm going to share those results after we watch Once Upon a Time. But let me just say that I'm kind of disappointed that not a lot of you voted. Because, season 7 is pretty hated upon, but I like the show all the way to the end. And the series finale is worth watching season 7 for. Because the show was just about to get canceled after season 6 anyway. This is due to because of ratings and stuff. They definitely, because the ratings still got worse when season 7 came on the air, and so they definitely canceled it. With this being a Disney fairy tale show, ABC didn't want to ruin the magic of Disney by ending it in the middle of the season, so they allowed the show to finish season 7, but they canceled it after that. So yes, season 7 will be the real final season. Season 6 is kind of the Joker final season. And anyway, season 7 is kind of like the epilogue. So we are really hitting the end of the book. We are hitting the end of the story, the series, pretty much. But we do have an epilogue season. So that we're not done with our marathon. But anyway, point being, because this was going to be the end of the show, they made a Once Upon a Time recap special that's less about recapping the whole series as a whole, but more about like, what the actors learned from the show and what they gained from it since pilot, what they, how where their characters started and where they ended up, which is not true. Where that's not where they end up at the end of the series because we got season 7. But like it's kind of their final thoughts on the show, kind of thing. They did not do the same thing for the season 7 finale. No Once Upon a Time special, sadly, but they did do it for season 6. And to be fair, season 7, most of the characters from Once Upon a Time seasons 1 through 6 are not in it. Like, there's only a few. 90% of the characters are different in season 7. I'm tired of spoiling season 7 at this point. We got to start watching season 6 because we're not on season 7 yet. But anyway, I'm just saying, it's completely different. It's like watching an entire different show. Think of it like this. You're watching, let's say you're watching the Clone Wars, Star Wars The Clone Wars. I don't know if you heard of that show. It's a cartoon show. And then you go straight from that to what's a popular show that you guys might know? Full House. Full House and Star Wars Clone Wars are completely different shows, not even in the same universe. Okay, that's a bad comparison because season 7 is in the same universe. Let me try this again. Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. See? Same universe, but completely different shows. See what I'm saying? That's what season 7 feels like. But it's attached to the same show because they got renewed and they already set it up as a series finale. So the only way they could go forward without ruining the ending they made was to do a reboot. And so, yes, I don't know very many shows that have a reboot as their final season. I've seen many shows where the reboot is its own separate series, but not as a final season. So anyway, yes, a lot of you might not like that season, but that's okay. We're gonna still watch it regardless. Tonight we'll watch season 6, episodes 18 through 20. Then next week we'll finish the season, and then in May we'll start season 7. So, all right. So season 6, episode 18. Here we go. Let me tell you the timestamp so we can get started. It's called Where Bluebirds Fly, episode 18. It's 43 minutes, 53 seconds. I'm gonna start the countdown. Just gonna check really quick, seeing if anyone commented, if anyone's watching. Okay, no one's watching. Okay, that's silly. But hopefully you're watching it later. All right, ready? We're gonna start the episodes. 3, 2, 1, go. I have dinner, so don't mind me. Gideon. Gideon brought the blackberry to Storybrooke. Isaac, we're at the end of the book. We're in the final chapter, and in the series, in the first book series finale, Saber fights the final battle. No one wants to be around to see that. And then Snow and Charming wake up from their sleeping curse, so that's resolved. We've never seen the Wicked Witch as a kid before, so anyway. Oh yeah, but yeah, just to kind of recap, Snow and Charming did wake up from their sleeping curse. Um, and something else happened. Oh yeah, Hook got separated between realms and finally made it back to Emma, and he had a proper proposal this time. So maybe it's about time we start planning the wedding and stop worrying about relationship trusts, right? Some bullies tried to bully Zelina. hmm I mean, in Oz, well, that can't be true. They left Glinda. They can't be afraid of magic. No. If you look at Wicked, the movie Wicked, they're really just judging Elphaba based on her green skin, not her magic. Once Upon a Time's interpretation, though, Oz is not used to magical beings, but then you have a wizard who, even though the wizard is is full of fake magic. People in Oz believe the wizard is magical. So in the perspective of the Ozians, I would say your wizard has magic. Why are you scared if Selena has magic? Like honestly, I mean, she is a kid. She can't control her magic, so kind of like Elsa, I guess. That's why people fear her and don't want to befriend her. Aw. Yep, the final battle is approaching, guys. Not tonight. The season finale is literally titled the title of. So we're watching Where Bluebirds Fly, and then we're watching the episode that's titled The Black Fairy. So you know it's going to be a her centered episode. And then it's called The Song in Your Heart, which can obviously hint that it's the musical episode. Just look for the title that has the word song in it. That's the musical episode. Now, there is another season with this song title. In season 5, the mid season finale was called Swan Song. So, I mean, I guess you could confuse it with that, but that's the only other Once Upon a Time title. I have all the titles to every episode of Once Upon a Time memorized. And look, the thumbnail's Oz. Cool. And so, let me just tell you that there's out of all the titles of Once Upon a Time, only two titles have a song in it. Like not a song, but like the word song. And Swan Song season 5 episode 11 and season 6 episode 20. But you can just remember that the musical episode is in season 6. It shouldn't be hard to find the musical episode. Like just look for the title that says song in it. So, the song in your heart, Black Fairy, and we're watching right now Where Bluebirds Fly. But the season finale for next week is called The Final Battle Part 1 and The Final Battle Part 2. Now, half of the double length season finale episodes of Once Upon a Time have different titles. But if you look in season 4, we had Smash the Mirror Part 1 and 2 for Frozen, and then the Queens of Darkness was Operation Monkeys Part 1 and 2. Sorry, it's off topic of what we're watching right now, but it's still Once Upon a Time related. So let me just say, because of season 4, we have had Part 1 and Part 2 titles before. So anyway, they're trying to readopt that idea instead of having two separate titles. Like the time travel Back to the Future episode, the titles were different. They were Snow Drifts and There's No Place Like Home. And then the season 5 finale was Only You and Untold Story. Two different titles. So only use the title of a song. Untold Story is just a hint of where we went at the beginning of season 6. So Snow White's been planning Emma's wedding even before she met Hook. She's been planning it since the curse broke. How ironic, right? She missed all her milestones. Her first steps, her first words, her first smile, her graduation. She missed all of it. And she doesn't have many milestones left, so Snow White wants to make the best of her wedding. Wicked Witch and Regina are still wicked versus evil fighting right now. I mean, they're not evil. Wicked Witch has turned a relief and became good, but I mean, they're still sisterly fighting, even about the small conversations on who should be the black fairy. No, I should. I should. Come on, sisters, make it up already. You're not being what your mother wanted you to be when she went to heaven. Honestly, they're not really sisterly bonding right now. Ever since Robin's death, they've been distant. Yeah, let's plan Emma and Hook's wedding. We're gonna. It's tonight, actually. Not when this episode aired, of course, but because we do 3 episodes a night, it's our. We're watching their wedding tonight, so they have to have it planned out before the live stream ends. At least Belle and Rumple are not toxic anymore. They were in the first half of the season. I guess if you really want to make a half season divider, not just Evil Queen or Black Fairy or whatever. The one thing that actually took a half a season was Bill and Rumple's relationship mending, and then they've been together ever since. Seriously, how many times are you gonna forgive Rumple, Bill? So Belle's a good babysitter. Yeah, Belle's a good babysitter, honestly. Remember when we first got introduced to the Black Fairy? She was babysitting Jack and Jill's baby. Now she's babysitting Zelina's baby. She babysat Neil in season 4. Belle's the babysitter in the show. She just keeps babysitting. She's prepared to raise Gideon when they turn. Well, except he got raised by the Black Fairy in just a day. So I guess she never really got to be a mother to Gideon. But before giving birth to Gideon, she was kind of prepared to be a mother. All the babysitting practice she's had. Look, look, even Henry's powers are not strong enough. Emma wins the final battle and it disappears. You can't, even Henry, as the author, can't change Emma's fate of death, apparently. There's no escaping it. Emma's gonna have to die. Yeah, I was just watching the other day about how Jared Gilmore is not much of a good actor. Yeah, I do see the lack of facial expressions. He was much more likable when he was a kid, when he was like 10. Now he's 16 in real life. Not real life, but okay. In the show, only a couple years have passed and he's actually like 13, maybe 14. But with each season of Once Upon a Time airing per year, this is season 6. So if he was 10 in season 1, that means he's like at the time this was airing, he was 16, like the actor, not the character. In real life, he's in his 20s now, but watching this back in the day, he was really 16, playing a 14-year-old. Because time ages slower on Once Upon a Time than it does in real life, apparently. But not every season covers a whole year of someone's life. Um, but let me think. Yeah, Henry was like 17, almost graduating high school when the show actually ended with season 7. So, you know, we saw the Wicked Witch as a child befriending the Tin Man, or who's later going to be the Tin Man. From the Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man, Scarecrow, Lion, right? We seen the lion in season 5. It was attacking. No, we have not seen the Cowardly Lion actually, but we saw the Scarecrow. We saw the Scarecrow working with Dorothy, and the Wicked Witch took the Scarecrow's brain with the help of Hades. The only people we haven't seen left is the Tin Man and Lion, and now we're gonna see them. So hope you enjoy having dinner by yourself. Wow. I don't know about that, Zelina. She was a nice, innocent girl when she was younger, and now she became a wickedly adult. Not anymore. But the fact that she can't get along with her sister says a lot. Yep, now the whole tunnel's about to collapse on you. Selena, Wicked Witch, if you don't, Selena and Regina, if you don't get along, things are just gonna get worse. They go from wicked versus evil to just good sisters fighting. But we can be better than that. Yeah, some people are seasick in Storybrooke, so you might not wanna have the wedding on the Jolly Roger. What about the grannies? Wow, Charming's really bringing his wife under the bus. Oh my goodness, we were cursed. What are you doing? Oh my goodness, Charming doesn't want Emma and Hook to get married, huh? Interesting. Yeah, even Hook doesn't know what's going on with Emma's parents. Emma, they're your parents. You figure it out. Too bad we don't have Ruby anymore. That random girl who's a waitress at Granny's is just a random stranger, probably from the Untold Stories. Uh, well, I don't think the Black Fairy necessarily threatened your baby. She wanted you to join her, and the Wicked Witch is like, no, I'm not going to join you. Good job, Wicked Witch. She went from joining the evil team to resisting in one season because in the beginning of season 6, she wanted to join the evil queen. She wanted the evil sister more than the righteous one. And well, the Black Fairy is not a sister, but she is resisting evil now. So if the evil queen ever came back at full on evil, I mean, hey, aren't those bones on the road? Ew. Oz is a gross place. Anyway, so now, yeah, so now we've met the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and we just need the Cowardly Lion. Yeah, be careful if you you don't want to get personal with the Wicked Witch, because once you do, one betrayal and she will pull you off your feet. There's our Cowardly Lion. Now we've gotten our three Oz characters from the Dorothy's arrival. We got all three characters. Well, the only reason the Black Fairy's calling the Evil Queen a failure is because Emma broke the curse. It's not her fault. Man, wow. Another tunnel collapse. We're just gonna be stuck in there for days. Yeah, I mean, yep. Better to be the Wicked Witch's friend than her enemy. That's for sure. Even when she's good, but still fighting with her sister about Robin's death a whole season later. It's almost been exactly an entire season since Robin died. Season 5, episode 21. That's the first episode we're going to watch next week. Well, not really. We have the Once Upon a Time recap special, but yeah. It is kind of strange that in the past, all our recap specials were at the beginning of an arc and not at the end of almost the entire series, actually, or the entire arc, right? Or what? Yeah, you know what I mean. What could have been the entire end of the entire series if there wasn't a season 7 reboot, right? But like, you know what I mean. It was a perfect way to end the show. Imagine ending. You're watching a 1 hour show every week, and the series finale is 3 hours long. Every year, you get a 2 hour season finale, but then you get a 3 hour series finale. That is like a perfect way to end the show. Why didn't they just end it there, right? I wish they did the same with season 7. Season seven's worse. Season 7 doesn't even have a double length episode. The series finale is all 40 minutes, unfortunately. So season 7's not as big of a payoff as season 6 will be, but it is still a worse. It's but that's just that's just minute wise. Plot wise, season 7 is a great finale, and it's worth getting through the reboot for. Okay. Anyway, wow, Gideon. He probably remember Black Fairy has Gideon's heart. So I bet real Gideon, not the Gideon without his heart Gideon. The Gideon with his heart is probably doesn't like doing this and wants to be off his Black Fairy's niche. Anyway, so is Black Fairy planning to kill everybody? No one will be around to see what the Black Fairy accomplishes. Wow. Final battle is like a big deal. Like it's more bigger than any other battle we face in the series. And it makes season 7 feel like child's play. Honestly. This is, so I can understand for a lot of you who would want to stop after this season. But it's only one more season. Romans World 3 seasons. Fuller House 4 seasons. But Once Upon a Time reboot? Only one season, guys. We could get through it. We could finish the show. It's only just one more season, right? Anyway, but yes, Final Battle is shaping to be the biggest thing that you'll ever see on Once Upon a Time. It's the one battle that doesn't just affect Storybrooke. It affects every single person in the real world and Fairy Tale Land. Honestly, it's like a multi-universe battle, just like the Arrowverse when they did crossovers, like right. This is crossovers of every Fairy Tale Land working together to fight the final battle. So the Wicked Witch of the East, we never met her in Once Upon a Time, but if you've seen the Lord of Oz and you watched Wicked, the wheelchair lady is also evil, and she cursed the guy to turn into tin, and it's gradually and slowly, of course, but he's almost all the way tinned, and there's not much time. Man, these sisters can't get along like Cora wanted them to. Man, you go from the underworld arc of redemption, and then it's all been ruined. She joins the side of evil for the evil queen, and then she regrets it and decides to be good again, but gets jealous of Robin Hood being in town. Then when she finds out he has no interest in his daughter, everything's fine, but the Wicked Witch would have never teamed up with the evil queen. She would have never been jealous of Robin. Regina would just forgive her for Robin's death. Honestly, I think the Wicked Witch secretly was glad Robin died so that she didn't have to share her child. But who's to say that's what she's thinking? She could just be jealous of Robin because she doesn't like her sister. She is a reformed, changed being after Cora went to the afterlife. So or she was already in the afterlife. Underworld was afterlife, heaven. Anyway, get married in the Charming's bathroom. Bad idea. Bad place to have a wedding. Their bathroom. It's too small, and who gets married in a bathroom? Honestly, guys. That is true. Well, that would be sad. Emma dies. It's a short marriage. You get married to Hook for only a couple days. Really? We're in the final days, guys, in the final battle. Man. Oh, that's kind of sad. Even having empathy. She's like, Zelina, is everything okay? Why are you leaving? No, we can't have our Wicked Witch leave again. She keeps leaving the show, guys. I mean, the first couple times she faked her death, and then she went back to Oz. Man, no one wants her around. You kind of feel bad. What would you do in her shoes? Everyone rejected you. No one trusted you. Everyone hates you for someone's death. No one wanted you in town. How would you feel? Would you even consider going back to where you came from because there's nothing left for you here? Honestly, I got the emotional vibes and chills from the scene. Wicked Witch. The music is perfect. The Wicked Witch leaving. It's kind of sad that Regina and Wicked Witch can't make up for their losses of season 5. It's been going on all season 6 that they've been fighting. It's your fault they died. It's your fault they died. Anyway, speaking of Wicked Witch having no friends and being alone, we're back to the flashback where he's helping the Tin Man be saved from being tin. He's turning into full 10. It's spreading to the rest of his body. Well, he's not wrong. The Wicked Witch did become alone for a very long time. Even people in Storybrooke, like first everyone in Oz hates her, and then people in Storybrooke hate her. And she has no one, no friends, even when she's trying to be good, even when she's choosing the right and no longer being wicked. She's having a hard time making friends. So I mean, the Tin Man's not wrong. She will be alone for a very long time, having not saved him. That is true. Her father is long dead. Cora's dead. She has no family. Even her abusive stepfather is no longer around. And she only has Regina left as her sister. She has no other family. Feel bad for the Wicked Witch. Hey, but she has a but she's gonna gain a bigger family. She's gonna gain family trust from the Charmings if she helps defeat the Black Fairy. Since her magic's the one that tied the magic to the crystals, she can use the heart from Oz, that that we saw in the flashback that she refused to use, but changing her mind about using it. Um, Now as a hero and not as a wicked witch, that's probably going to help her cause. It's going to help her. Oh look, in the flashback before when she was a wicked evil person creating a time travel spell, she's all lonely at the table. Oh, that's so sad. But at least now she's willing to make friends, right? She's a good wicked witch, not an evil wicked witch. Or why am I saying wicked witch at all? Good witch. She's a good witch. And she's trying to make friends by sacrificing her magic to stop the final battle, or at least slow it down, because it can't be stopped. But yep, Emma being the protagonist of the show and the savior, she's standing up for the Wicked Witch. Yep, draining all her magic, and it's draining all the magic that she used on the crystals. Black Fairy's like, "What's happening?" Gideon's like, "Well, I'm glad this is happening. You're failing, haha." Because he doesn't care. He's just forced to work with her. Yeah, she is stronger. See, this is how you make friends. You give up your magic for them, and then they're willing to stand by you anytime. So she gained a bigger family than Regina by sacrificing her magic and serving the charming. She's now a family to them. Oh man, the heroes didn't even know that. Rumple, and Belle have been hiding the secret for a very long time. They're gonna use one of the black fairy crystals to wake up the blue fairy. Interesting. She might know how to defeat the black fairy. Not only defeat her, but know how to um what was it? Oh yeah. Know how to use the crystals to make some sort of defender weapon or whatever. Wow. So the black fairy, it has nothing to do with that fairy wand. You know, she might know where the fairy wand is. She might know how to defeat the black fairy. But black fairy's not worried about being defeated. The blue fairy has a secret that the black fairy doesn't want exposed, and that's by the reason she really gave Rumple up. We're about to find that up right now in the next episode. You know, the real reason. It's not like any other episode. Having watched this, this is one of the best episodes of the show. This is what can. These are some of the episodes I consider to those watching it for the first time their favorite episode. Back in the day when it first aired, I would not consider it as my favorite episode, but it was really jaw dropping. Do you remember when we found out Peter Pan was Rumple's father? Remember what big of a plot twist that was? Luke, I am your father moment. This is not like I am your father moment, but it's a plot twist that's worth that kind of shock. Um, the reason why the Black Fairy gave Rumple up is like, it's more than just Emma giving up Henry and Snow giving up Emma. It's not like the any other abandonments that we've seen on the show. It is really huge. Like you will not see it coming unless I spoiled it for you. So I'm not going to do that for anyone that is possibly doing this marathon with me for the first time, you know. So anyway, but for the you know what I know if you've seen the show before. Anyway, this is a big plot reveal, but yeah, it's gonna, so not to spoil anything about it. That's the reason why the Black Fairy doesn't want the Blue Fairy awake, because she knows that secret. And it's about to be revealed to the audience. So we're gonna start that episode right now, right away. But just to kind of stem up the Wicked Witch here. You see, Hades killed Robin, and it's all because the Wicked Witch trusted Hades. You know, it's like trusting the devil and bringing him into your home and your family, right? And then he kills someone else loves, and they don't forgive you for it because it's your fault for trusting that person in the begin with. Everyone knows not to trust the devil. Anyway, Hades, for trusting Hades, we didn't see this in the finale. When Robin first died, Zelena didn't focus on her emotions. She focused on grief and loss with the Wicked Witch. And at the funeral, they were pretty nice with each other. And yes, Regina wanted actually revenge on Captain Hook because it wasn't fair that he survived and Robin didn't, right? But then, luckily she knows she's a reformed character. She's repented. She's no longer evil, so she decides not to do that, right? Anyway, turns out instead of pulling her anger on Captain Hook, she moves it to her sister, who Cora just mended their broken sisterly relationship. They were at odds for a very long time. They were even at close to killing each other, until Cora stepped in and made them the sisters that they are. And then she went to heaven, despite all her sins and mistakes, Cora and all her evil doings. Cora was able to be forgiven of all her sins and went to heaven. And and she with the assurance that Regina and the Wicked Witch were going to stay sisters, really good sisters, not wicked versus evil, right? So anyway, so yes, unfortunately, Cora's plan did not go well at all, because as soon as Robin died, not right after, but Regina started to blame the Wicked Witch for Robin's death. Ever since the first episode of season 6, they were gonna live together until that fight happened, and then she teamed up with the Evil Queen because the Evil Queen accepted her. But just because the villain accepts you doesn't make it right, and when the hero doesn't. And so anyway, even after even after the Wicked Witch half season down the line found out that the Wicked that team up with the Evil Queen was wrong, Regina still didn't forgive her, and they stayed distant. Because of their sibling rivalry. They went from being evil rivalries to, like, instead of being they went from enemies. That's the word. They went from enemies to sisters, and now they backtrack. But instead of being enemies, they're not really enemies. And, Regina knows that the Wicked Witch is actually good now, but she just can't find herself to forgive her of Robin's death or the fact that she teamed up with the Evil Queen, her lesser half, right? And so anyway, the Wicked Witch, felt, anyway, she felt resentment towards her sister, and not evil resentment, just normally, like good, just normal, simply, like when you argue with a sibling in real life, you're not gonna kill them, right? It's against the law. They're just sibling rivalry fighting, like verbally, not physically anymore. So anyway, so yes, though they might not be evil siblings, they're still unable to get along siblings. Like, you know what I mean? And so anyway, finally in this episode, and again, that's what caused her to be jealous of Robin, just to create more fuel to the sisterly bond. Luckily Robin had no care for the child though and stuff, anyway. But now this episode kind of wraps that storyline up, where the Evil Queen, Regina, not the Evil Queen, Regina finally forgives the Wicked Witch, for everything, and their sisterly bond is now mended, and now they can go. Now they're going back to being sisters again. So, wow, what a story arc for Regina and the Wicked Witch, right? Which was barely touched on throughout the season. It was, besides episode 1. So it hasn't been touched on a lot, but funny how they dragged it all the way this long, right? Until episode 18, it really got touched on. So, all right, moving on. We're done talking about the Wicked Witch. We're moving on to the Black Fairy and her secret of why she gave Rumple up. Rumple's mother learned his destiny. Rumple's mother learns his destiny is prophesied. So, if you notice that this episode is going to be about Rumple and why the Black Fairy gave him up, and he was destined for something. So we're going to watch this. Are you ready? Are you ready to find out the secret of why she gave him up? It's really huge. It's really television, well written. Like you'll be shocked, despite all the abandonments we've had this show, and you're probably tired of people abandoning their child. Trust me, this one's not. You'll like this one. Okay, I'll tell you the timestamp. We're gonna start it. So, 43 minutes and 50 seconds. No, 43 minutes and 51 seconds. Season 6, episode 19. If you're watching Disney Plus, whatever, 43 minutes and 51 seconds. Just don't push play. pause it right before it says previously on Once Upon a Time. Um, so let me check the comments before we start this episode. Um, okay, no comments. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Three, two, one, go. Many years ago, on a beautiful winter's night. This was a long time ago in the making. Black Fairy is giving birth to a baby boy. And there's Peter Pan by her side. The not the young Neverland Peter Pan before he became a youthful boy, adult father Peter Pan. Last time we saw him was in season 3. We know why Rumpel's father gave him up, to be a youthful Peter Pan in Neverland, right? But why did his mother give him up? His mother abandoned him when he was a baby. His father did not abandon him until he was like 10 years old. So he was motherless before he was fatherless, basically. We're going to find out how Rumpel got abandoned twice. Snow White and Charming only abandoned their daughter once at the same time. Same with Emma and Hook. I mean, Emma and Rumpel. Emma and Neil! My goodness. I can't get my characters straight. But anyway, yeah, this is different. You have one parent who abandons them first before the other. So it's like, we've already seen Rumpel been abandoned before, but we're going to see him get abandoned again by the other parent. Right? It's kind of cool. A beautiful baby boy will be born this winter night, and who is prophesied to who is prophesied to restore everyone's happy endings. A boy known as the Savior. Rumpel was so angry that he didn't wake the blue fairy that he threw the mailbox across the street. Hey, Rumpel Bell, get in here. Blue fairy's waking up finally. So stop arguing and fighting. Or no, they're not arguing and fighting. Stop frustrating him. Get in here. Wow. So Charming and Snow White weren't even there to begin with. They were just the Blackberry and Gideon disguised. Wow. They took the blue fairy. Now they can't get answers. Fortunately, Gideon can't use his magic because they put the cuff that blocks your magic. They put the cuff on before he could go away. Blackberry left Gideon behind. It's okay, Gideon prefers that. You're gonna teach the Wicked Witch how to drive. She doesn't have a license. She's been too busy on a broom. So we're not done with the Wicked Witch. She has a subplot for this episode too, but not a main plot like last episode. We're gonna find out the secret. Wow. So we have remember in season 6, episode 1, the season started out with Rumpel going to the dream world. We haven't been back there in a while. Like Belle's been having visions of the dream world, but as soon as was born in episode 9, we haven't seen the dream world ever since. Honestly, it's nice to have this come back. Season 6 introduced us to the dream world. That's one thing season 6 gave us. That's different, right? And the wish room. That is true. Rumpel's made a lot of bad decisions. It's hard for him to do the right thing. Emma can easily do the right thing before, even when it's too late. So Rumpel probably was smart to bring Emma along so that she doesn't kill the Black Fairy while he's in Gideon's dream world. Wow. This is where Rumpel was born. Why is he here? What does this have to do in Gideon's dream? Well, apparently, see, that's not how sand works. You can't go into any dream you want. He was able to go into Belle's dream world because Belle needed to be woken up. But since no one's under a sleeping curse, you have really no control over that. So you might as well end up being your own dream world. What a plot twist! Because this is not about Gideon at all. This is about why Rumpel got abandoned. So wow, Tiger Lily. Number she's from Neverland. Hook and her have a complicated history. It's nice to know that she was a fairy once, right? I wonder how she lost her wings. You know how Tinkerbell lost hers. She tried to help the evil queen. How did Tiger Lily lose hers? Apparently apparently Fiona, who was the black fairy before she was the black fairy, turned herself into a fairy. So now we know how she became a fairy, but how did she become a black fairy? Because she's yellow right now. Right? So anyway, they solve for this flashback delivering the past, they solve that thing pretty quickly. Wicked Witch is a bad driver. Remember, this reminds me. Do you remember a few seasons ago when Henry started driving? He ran over a mailbox and a few park benches. Whoa! You knocked over garbage cans. Now that's crazy driving for sure. Wow. So the Wicked Witch, just before she starts learning how to drive, gets a phone call. This is why you don't text and drive or call and drive. My goodness. You kept her in worse prisons. Just kidding. We made that joke earlier. That's why I wanted to say it again. My goodness, anytime they're about like she said the same thing with Mr. Hyde. Anytime that they're about to fight a villain or do something, she keeps pushing her sister to the side. What happened to making up? Come on. Let the Wicked Witch fight the battles with you. Maybe This time's a little different. Last time it was more sibling rivalry. This time she doesn't want anything to happen to her sister because if the Wicked Witch dies in the final battle, then there's no one to protect Henry if everyone else dies. So kind of needs the Wicked Witch to play defense and protect Henry. Wow, it's kind of cool how Regina's trusting um her son with his aunt. The Wicked Witch gets to raise her nephew. Cute. Black Fairy's going to torture the Blue Fairy until she mentions where the wand is. That's funny. 100 babies? You looked for a lot of babies, Fiona. She's trying to find the one that's going to kill her son. Because apparently Rumpel was also a savior. So so that means it's almost spring, huh? And you didn't find the evil that's supposed to kill your son. Mm. Yeah, I mean, this is before she became the Black Fairy, so you might agree that letting her into the fairy vault will help save everyone from being killed and survive. But honestly, knowing what she becomes, I would not trust her. They don't really share the same story. Snow and Charming didn't give up Emma out of evil. They did it to protect her. Black Fairy did it out of evil. That's different. Emma was just afraid of being a mother and not ready for it. Everyone abandons each other for different reasons, like Peter Pan. So, in order to stop the Black Fairy, Rumple has to find out his mother's darkest secret. Yeah, like at least when Emma gave up Henry, she named him Henry. When Peter Pan gave up Rumple, Rumple was already Rumple. When Snow and Charming gave up Emma, they named him Emma. They named her Emma. Black Fairy didn't even name Rumpelstiltskin. She gave him up before she even gave him a name. That's worse. And Granny's like, "Oh, great! So you're all gonna tear my place apart? What about my lunch rush? These guys are tearing everything apart. I'm calling the police. Don't you have a warrant to do this? You need a warrant, guys. Is that the wand? Yes, it is. Yeah, that is true. We've seen Rumple disguised as people before. We've seen Black Fairy disguised as people before. It's hard to know who to trust, right? That's true. They've made very dark things in their life, even unspeakable things. And they've never done one thing: kill a queen and kill a fairy. Black fairy versus evil queen. The person who invented the curse and the person who created the curse. Let's fight this battle here. Wow, this is probably how everyone gets killed off, right? This is how everyone dies before Emma's final battle, right? Yeah, she's so evil. I like her evil eyes. Whoa! Never run a pedestrian over, ever. But this was cool. The Wicked Witch, she may not be a good driver, but it's a lot easier when you're trying to hit things to drive a car, right? Yeah, it makes driving quite easy when you're trying to hit something like the Wicked Witch. Now she's getting the hang of this driving thing. The only time it's okay to run someone over with your car is if they're an evil black fairy. Yeah. Why were you abandoned? We're going to the flashback. We're finding out what happened to the Black Fairy and how she abandoned her son. Now this is the first time Rumple finds out that he was a savior. That's a plot twist reveal for sure. Man, see, here's the difference. Black Fairy would do anything to protect her son from dying, but she's not gonna go all evil to do it. Snow and Charming are staying hopeful that their daughter will survive the final battle. They're not trying to be evil like the Black Fairy. There's a difference between these two stories, between Rumple's savior story and Emma's. You probably didn't see that coming. That was the plot twist. I told you this is not some any abandonment. This is like very important. Rumple was once a savior. Emma, remember, Mr. Hyde said in the first episode that Emma wasn't the first savior. Whenever there's a savior, there's a villain who brings them down. Either they died or they used the scissors of destiny to avoid their fate. The only reason Aladdin didn't die is because he cut himself off from the savior tides, and same with Rumple. So now the Black Fairy is threatening to kill the fairy kill Tiger Lily, and then we wake up from the dream world before we can see what happens next. What do you mean all these years? There was a time you thought the man was no longer behind the beast, and you crossed your husband over the town line. You didn't always think that, Belle. You gave up on your husband too. You can't. You didn't always believe he was a hero, but you have believed it before. I don't think that's a good idea. You should not face your mother alone. That's a bad idea. That's a bad sign. What if she gets you to turn to the dark side again? You turned evil many times before, Rumple. No, do not. I just know what happens, guys. First of all, this is season 6, episode 19. There's still 3 more episodes with the Black Fairy left. Like, literally, they're not going to kill her in this episode. What are you going to do for the last 3? I mean, you got a musical episode, but not for the season finale. Anyway. Hmm. Yes, Rumple was once the savior, but there can only be one savior at a time. So Emma can't be the savior if Rumple's the savior. So So it looks like Fiona, I forgot to mention this before, but the Black Fairy, Fiona became the Black Fairy when she chose to cast her dark curse, and we learned that evil wasn't born this winter, it was made. So even though the great evil that's supposed to kill the savior is born in the same winter as the savior, it didn't say it was born, it just said it was made. So So now we got the whole story. So after becoming the Black Fairy and turning evil, becoming the person that the Savior needs to defeat, apparently, she used the scissors of destiny to cut Rumple from his Savior's fate. So now we know why Aladdin's no longer the Savior and why he didn't die in the final battle, and we know Rumple the same way. He didn't even, what's different is that at least Aladdin was the Savior and only chose to give it up when he heard about the final battle. Rumple didn't even have a chance to make decisions for himself. He was a baby, and so his mother made decisions for him and forced him not to be the savior when he probably would have just accepted it. This is what makes Rumple upset right now. Is that, hey, why did you choose this for me? I didn't want this. Why did you make me not the savior? Like, must be frustrating. And then the blue fairy, because of this evilness of that came over the black fairy of cutting this using the scissors on her son and almost casting a dark curse, the blue fairy banished her to another realm and she was trapped there until Gideon found a way to get her out. So, yeah. Yep, and see, this is why they can't be a happy family because of villains like that, because of villainy. And why people don't trust them is because of villains like you guys. Rumple, don't forgive her. Yes, you make the same mistakes she did, but she's not redeemable like you are. Do not forgive her. Honestly, right? I mean, I told you he always slips back into evil, and he's gonna lie about it. Oh wait, no, we have to come back to the flashback. Peter Pan is so upset about his wife, wondering where she's at, not knowing that Fiona turned into a fairy, an evil fairy. See, the black fairy did not even give her son a name. The father had to give her a name, give him a name. Well, now we know why Peter Pan named him Rumpel, right? We know why. Yeah, yeah. Well, all Peter Pan knew is that his wife was dead. He didn't know that she just got vanished to another world. They lied to him about it, his wife. So if that Pan never found out, he would have been mad at Blue Fairy for lying. But anyway, We all know what happens. Peter Pan can't handle being a father, a father alone. He can't handle it. He can't handle being a single parent, so he gives his son up to be a youthful young boy. So yeah, that solves Rumple's childhood for sure. What a rough childhood that is. You lose your mother at birth. You lose your father at 10. Wow, poor Rumple. Well, Gideon has his heart back. And this would have been cool to see. If Rumple really defeated the Black Fairy, I would have said Gideon got his heart back. Rumple has the remains of the fairy wand that he used to defeat the Black Fairy. It's all over. Happily ever after. Nope. 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 It looks like Rumple joined up instead of defeating the Black Fairy. Rumple joined up with the Black, joined her, and is lying about it. What happens when these heroes find out that Rumple double crossed them again? Again! He never learns his lesson. Anyway, despite this family drama, despite his problems of choosing the right, and despite this toxic, toxic character, we got a better episode in store. I mean, this was great to find out he was the savior and all, but it still has its. But that was the only thing that made it great. Rumple's no longer the savior. Same with Aladdin. They both given up on their destiny, but Emma's not. So that's the cool part about the show is that we get to see a story of a character who never gives up. Yeah. So Rumpel is making all these promises to Belle and Gideon, returning his heart and promising to never lose, never let go of his love for him, and then promising to whatever everything he does may not seem apparent at the time, but everything he does is for him and Belle. And that may be true, but you're still leaving some things out, Rumpel, and you're lying to your own family about it. You think Belle's gonna want to be with you again when she finds out? She's probably already forgiven you one too many times, honestly. But while that family is falling apart, another one is coming together. Emma Swan is about to be married to Captain Hook, and they're getting married like tonight, like tomorrow in the show. But that means that's going to be the next episode. And the next episode takes place the very next day from this one. The wedding is happening, guys. Huck is so old fashioned. He's 300 years old. He lives in a time where rules were stricter and that you needed a father's blessing to marry someone. And that, it's bad luck to see the bride before the wedding. He takes things seriously. We don't take them seriously now. Honestly, that doesn't matter anymore. Everyone lives in a modern world, but Hook doesn't. So he doesn't want to see Emma before the wedding. That's why he has to sleep on the Jolly Roger and and not sleep with her for the night. He moved in with her, so I can understand Emma's thing about where are you going. Well, he's going to sleep on Jolly Roger where he used to sleep before he married you, or before he engaged you. That is true because the Black Fairy chose dark magic over light, and now Rumble did the same thing. Gideon and Belle are safe. Well, interesting. Yep, yep. Mm. See, plot twist, plot twist, plot twist. You know, we gotta talk about this, guys. So, Rumple, it has been established that Rumple's officially no longer the savior. You can only have one savior at a time. Um, you know, um, but one still stands. So there is one savior that stands, and that's Emma Swan. So yeah, Blackberry just revealed that tomorrow is the day she dies on her wedding day. That is sad. You do not want to die on your wedding day. That should be the best day of your life, not the worst day of your life. Anyway, so that's kind of that's kind of cheesy, but anyway, but but um, but yeah. So anyway, I just don't have words anymore. But anyway, sorry, got something in my throat now. But all right. So so originally, okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Now I know what I'm gonna say. Um, Snow and Charming wanted to postpone the wedding until we know the Black Fairy couldn't interrupt. What they didn't expect was for Rumple to lie about her death so they think she can't interrupt, or like they think they know. They said they don't want to do their wedding when they think she's not going to interrupt. They just want to do it when they know she's not. And so when they Rumple lying about her death, they know. They know she's not going to interrupt. When they find out that she's still alive and she interrupts, man, it's going to be worse than Snow and Charming. At least when Evil Queen interrupted Snow and Charming's wedding, it looks like the Charmings will never have a real wedding day because there'll always be a villain who interrupts them. But the Evil Queen, when the Evil Queen interrupted Snow and Charming's wedding, at least Snow and Charming knew they weren't going to die. Maybe give up their daughter so that she could break the curse, but like not die. Like this is worse. You're the bridegroom and you know you're going to die. That's worse than having someone evil interrupt your wedding. Like you're going to die in it. Die in your wedding. Die in the vows. That would be a short marriage, as Emma and Hook would say. Man, they're not going to cancel the wedding though. After so much party planning and having the wedding officially start, when they find out the Black Fairy is here, they're not gonna stop it. But anyway, it's gonna be interrupted for sure. They're setting this up for the what we got in the pilot when Evil Queen interrupted Snow and Charming. We're gonna get a similar thing with the Black Fairy interrupting Emma's wedding. I hope no one interrupts Henry's. Just kidding. Anyway, so we learned Rumple was once the savior, prophesied to break the curse. It's kind of a little sacrilegious that they used a winter morning or a winter's night, because that's how we celebrate the birth of Christ, kind of thing. But you can argue that Fiona was not in a manger; she was in her own cottage. So it is kind of at this point they do go slightly sacrilegious. They're not trying to be. I mean, get it. They're trying to use the same idea, just like how respectfully, it's the Sabbath day. How the Lord he atoned for us, and he gave his life for us, and um anyway, how he sacrificed himself for all of us. You can kind of say that Emma Swan is sacrificing herself for all the fairy tale characters, and so anyway, so yes, I can it is kind of a little sacrilegious, but like at the same time, it's not trying to do that. But yeah, anyway, but like yeah, the fact that they use the title, they call their protagonist the savior in the story, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's so yes, we found out Rumple was a savior and Aladdin was also a savior. Um, anyway, and so it's easy to forget that part though and just enjoy these for the fairy tales that they are because Disney never does crossovers. Disney movies get their own movies. You will never see Moana meet Snow White or Tiana meet Rapunzel. Like, you know what I mean? Once Upon a Time is the only thing that blends fairy tales together, really. And that's why I kind of like this show. So it might be kind of a little too much that they're taking the savior mythology of this all. But anyway, Emma sacrificing her life for all the fairy tale characters. Yes, true. And then everyone's going to get a happy ending. How does season 7 exist? Good point. But anyway, we're on the eve of the final battle. And yes, you're thinking, wait, Emma dies on her wedding day. There's 3 episodes left of the season. And I told you the wedding's not going to last 3 episodes. The musical episode is not 3 episodes, it's one. So I bet you're wondering what we're doing for the season finale. You'll find out. Let's watch the musical episode. All right. All right, so it's time for our musical episode. Sorry for starting. I told people we'd be watching the musical episode around 8:30, but we kind of started episodes late tonight. First one was at 7:06. The next one was at 7:55. I'm very sorry. It's 8:45. Let's start this musical episode, and then we can end the live stream at 9:30. No Q&A. No, there'll be nothing much to wrap up on. All right, let's start the musical episode. I'm debating. I probably won't sing along. Maybe I'll sing bits and pieces, but if anyone's watching for the first time, I'll try to let you listen to the music. But we're going to watch the musical episode. Who's ready for this? Song in Your Heart. Let me tell you how long it is. The episode before we have a big finale next week. 43 minutes and 53 seconds if you're watching Disney Plus. Otherwise, just pause before they say previously. Wait, this one doesn't have a recap on it. I accidentally already played the first few seconds before rewinding, and it doesn't even have a recap. So just make sure you not a single second of your timestamp has played. Okay, we're all gonna start at the same time. Ready? And then don't push play until I say 0. 3, 2, 1, 0. Get a flashback of Emma Swan when she was in the process. She has the idea of wanting to sing, but let's see, Minecraft. Wait, Minnesota, something like that. It's like 1993 or something. How evil! She never had a good childhood. After being abandoned by her parents, and going from foster home and never finding a real place. Not only that, but even in the orphanage, the kids never treated Emma with respect. They bullied her. They even bullied her on her singing. It's kind of sad. Emma had a rough childhood. Who? Oh, I bet you were wondering what Emma's wedding dress was going to be like, huh? Um, I know what you're thinking. That's too cheesy. Can't we do a new wedding dress? We don't need Snow White's wedding dress from the pilot. Can we do a new one? You'll see. You'll see. They'll do a new one. Black Fairy's gonna. I hate to spoil things for you, but Black Fairy's gonna ruin Snow's wedding dress, so they're gonna get a new one for him. You'll see what her wedding dress will look like. You'll see. Speaking of wedding dresses, this is Snow White's wedding dress. This is right after they got married. I think this was no, because we already had a flashback of their honeymoon. So this is probably when they got back from their honeymoon, honestly. Snow White made a wish upon a star. She goes to bed, and what does that wish grant her when she wakes up the next morning? She wishes to help her daughter get a happy ending. And what does she do to make that wish come true? She puts a singing curse on herself. That's how they get around this thing. Her song of the episode. It's called "Powerful Magic" by Snow and Charming. Man, I was looking forward to when we would get to this episode in our marathon. I knew it would be at least a year, but it's been a year since we started the marathon, and that day's finally come. So excited to watch this with you guys. Honestly, here comes the chorus. This is what I like most about this song. Here it comes, here it comes, here comes the chorus. Bum, 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 bum. It's a powerful magic when two hearts are one. A powerful magic, bright as the sun. Goodness and triumph and evil sit done when you dare to hear us call. 'Cause love is the most powerful magic of all. Yeah, my singing voice is rusty. I used to be able to sing. I have not done musical theater in a long time. Powerful magic. So let me. Well, I bet you're busy listening to this. Maybe I'll wait until the song's over. That is what love and its powerful magic can do. Feel the song inside our hearts. That is where the magic starts. I know the words. I listened to these songs over and over again after it came out. Now, there are a lot of you that don't like musicals. I need to talk to you about something when this song's done. So please don't click off. There's 8 songs in this musical, so 1 down, 7 to go. And it's a total of 20 minutes. Half of the episode is built with music. In a 40-minute episode, 20 minutes is music. So get used to it, because this is what we're listening to for the rest of the night. I know the beats of the music. They're going to use the power of music to defeat the evil queen. How does a song defeat the evil queen? You just sing and she dies? No. Dies? No. Okay. Now we have to talk about 2 things. So here's Snow White's wedding dress, and you're about to see what happens to it when they find out the Black Fairy's alive. Rumple betrayed them! Yeah, so Black Fairy's been centuries. So the Black Fairy's been collecting orphans for centuries and putting them down in the mines. You've been kidnapping as many babies as you could just to create an army in the Black Fairy world. Go to the clock tower and you'll see what you're up against. Really? Man, that's evil for the wicked. That's evil for the Black Fairy. I mean, I thought she originally did this just to protect people from losing their children, and now she's threatening all of them. How did she go this far down the line? Like the whole savior flashback told us how she became the Black Fairy and began her evil journey, but it changed a lot since then. She went from protecting children to destroying them. Anyway, let me explain before the next song plays. Let me explain this. Okay, for those who hate musicals, this is not your particular musical episode. Let me explain. Most TV shows will distract from the main plot and just throw on a musical episode in the middle of nowhere that doesn't make sense. Them singing makes sense. Now I can't explain it. I explained too late. Too much music. They're tortured by some spell. Mirror, mirror on the wall, please save me from this. I don't say swears, sorry. Snow and Charming made a wish. Now everything has changed. Oh, great, you're singing too. This whole thing is deranged. A spell as strong as this won't be easy to defeat. Your course may not succeed with your kingdom singing songs so sweet. Ho, hi ho, it's off to work we go. Hey, hey, no, ho, ho, ha, I demand a whistle. He's really not a boy. There's a lifetime to enjoy. The happy thing, he's got no strings. Because he's a mighty boy. Wow, Archie and Pinocchio singing. Jiminy Cricket, go ahead. Oh, the princess on her way. La, la, oh, and hope and great. Happy times are here to stay. Wow, Granny sings. We're not going to get their songs, by the way. Don't worry. They're not main characters. We're only going to get snippets of their singing. We've seen this song already. The next song comes on right after this, so we still have to wait before I can explain. Third song. The second one was just a short song of everyone singing. This one is just full on Evil Queen singing. Real milk cannot be clear, and love is a waste of time. Happy to tell you what love's magic spell. You cannot match the power of mine. Once I loved and once I learned. Love is weakness that will leave you burned. Down with love, down with hope, down with light. This slow chorus firing songs in my heart. Got the magic I need from my most darkest of deeds. Love at times can entrance. Love doesn't stand a chance. Love doesn't stand a chance. Okay. So we just saw these other characters sing for a short time, and now Evil Queen is going to use her song to interrupt them. He's already broke the door facts. He's already broken Geppetto's wooden Pinocchio's thing, and he's breaking Granny's blanket. She's so evil. Not anymore. The Evil Queen's not that evil anymore, but she is back in this flashback. The flashback is Snow White makes a wish to protect Emma from the Evil Queen's curse, and instead of a blessing, they get cursed to sing. And then they think they use the singing voice as a blessing, thinking it is a blessing to go defeat the Evil Queen with it. And the song obviously doesn't defeat the Evil Queen, knowing what we know now. Wreck this arrive from the heart. Got the magic I need from my most darkest of deeds. Love it, curse can romance, so love doesn't stand a chance. No, 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 love doesn't stand a chance. Yeah, my singing voice needs some work. I know it's really bad. I just can't help myself. Last time I sang was like what, 2020? No, I sang in my mission. So 2022. Christmas 2022 was the last time I sang. So my voice is 4 years outdated, and I need to really take some singing lessons again before I try to sing. I tried to sing. I sang one of these songs for a school concert once. One of these musical episode songs. So okay, while Emma and Hook are talking about the Black Fairy and canceling their wedding, and then Emma say, "No, let's not cancel the wedding." Blah blah blah. Okay, so you may hate musicals, but once upon a time, you have to have an exception because I watched an interview about the musical episode. They even said that their intention was not to slow down the plot, you know, or be a distraction from what's going on in Storybrooke. It's to further the plot. Use music to further the plot. And sometimes actions speak louder than words. Same with singing. Singing can express emotions better than words can do alone. It's actually true. So no, this is not holding the plot at all. Like if this was not a musical episode, they would be saying these words, just not singing them. And they're not just singing for no reason. If you were paying attention, Snow made a wish upon a star. You know how Disney movies work? When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Right? This is a Disney show. Disney movies are known for being musicals, so it makes sense for Once Upon a Time to do it, unlike any other show out there who does a musical episode. But when Snow White wishes upon a star, instead of a blessing, she gets a curse. It's kind of a blessing because now they get to sing their hearts out, but like they don't want to. That's the point. They want to break the curse, But until they do, they have to keep singing. And that's the only thing they can use to defeat the evil queen at this point. So that's why. See? It's not really a plot slower. The same would have been with words. Like if they couldn't find a way to defeat the evil queen, they'd try to convince her with their words. Singing yo ho, you could beg me a wine. Yo ho, you are wasting your time. I'm even more precious than pawn in a swine. It's revenge, 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 and it's gonna be mine. Revenge, revenge, revenge is gonna be mine. So Hook explains in song. I know we've already heard this before, so you can argue with me that this is not furthering the plot. But never, Snow and Charming never met Hook before. Never met Hook in the flashback before. So the first time they met Hook in present day was in season 2 when Emma and Snow got trapped in the Enchant Forest. So Hook, this is their first time meeting Hook in the past. And we're wondering, well, if they never met him until the present, how did they meet in the past? Well, spoiler alert, they get a memory wipe spell that prevents them from remembering that they sang in the first place, meaning they don't remember meeting Hook. So that's how this musical episode gets around plot holes. But they're meeting Hook for the first time, basically. Remember, they did the same thing with Snow and Charming. They actually met before they met, and they didn't know they were meeting. Anyway, beside the point. Anyway, this is their first time meeting Hook, and they don't know anything about Rumple killing his first love or anything. Hook needs to explain to Snow and Charming why he wants revenge. So he uses a song. First verse, he talks about wanting revenge. Second verse, he explains that a crocodile taking his hand. Third verse, he explains that he did more than that. Like there you go. See, it's better than giving us 20 minutes of flashback. Like honestly, we've seen this flashback already. But imagine we hadn't seen this flashback. A 3-minute song is way better than a 20-minute flashback. I mean, show don't tell, sure, but if you don't have time to give us a 20-minute flashback, why don't you just think about it? Honestly, right? That's still not excusable. I have one more reason for you to like this musical episode, okay? Sorry, I talked during that whole entire Hook song. I hope you weren't trying to listen to that. Just kidding. I sang part of it at the beginning. Yep, everyone knows Rumple betrayed them. They know the Black Fairy's back, so they're now mad at Rumple and for double crossing them. So we have been through 4 songs: Snow and Charming, Evil Queen, Hook, and then there was that one little reprise Evil Queen song where she's listening to everyone else sing. So we don't get Geppetto song, we don't get Granny song, we don't get the Seven Dwarfs song, but we get a snip pick of them in a Evil Queen reprise. So 4. We've been through 4 songs, and we're not even halfway through the episode, and there's 4 left. They need to upgrade. You got to keep in mind when this came out, it was 2016, and where it takes place in the show is around 2014. They had smart computers back then. Why are you still using a big box? You need to update your sheriff station. Honestly. Mm-hmm. The curse is gonna hit on the night of your wedding, and this is the day of your wedding, so you only have until nightfall. Hurry, hurry, hurry! Surrender to the Black Fairy while you still can. Right. So yeah, see, Regina, she's the one who cast the curse in the first place. She might not have invented it, but she casted it. So like, since she cast the Black Fairy's curse, she could have you know, she can learn something from it. And she learned that when she first cast everyone to Storybrooke, it was frozen for 20 years. Why not freeze the curse so it will never happen? You can't stop a curse that's been ignited, but you can pause it and just not break that curse. Because if you break it, then the Black Fairy's curse will be unleashed. So there you go. There you go. You can just pause the curse from happening. That's a plot hole. I mean, that's a plot twist you can use. So Rumpel, who's immortal and is a dark one, and remember when Regina cast the curse, he was immune to it. He was immune, and he wasn't cursed. And, and so with Rumpel being awake, being the dark one, nothing can really curse him. And so when the spell from a wish upon a star happened, it didn't work on the dark one. So Rumpel cannot sing, and in real life, the actor can't sing. So Rumpel can't sing. If you're wondering if this is lip singing or not, it's not. These characters in an interview have truthfully stated that they could sing. They were Hollywood singers and Broadway actors before they joined Once Upon a Time. So Once Upon a Time just chose perfectly the good actors who could sing, and that's what caused them to make this musical episode in the first place. Because it's not just a fairy tale; they could actually sing instead of getting people to sing for them. So unlike other TV show musical episodes. But one person who can't sing from the show because no show's perfect is Rumpelstiltskin. He can't actually sing. The actor can't. So instead of lip singing him, they decide not to give him a song, which is fair because he's the dark one and he shouldn't be under the curse anyway of singing, right? I haven't had a chance to sing this girl's chorus, so excuse me while I try to do this. Ready? Three, two, one. I will fly into tomorrow, my sister full of sorrow, as a pain full of sin. I'll strive, her life was so enchanting, she took it all for granted. The dream that could have been. You evil may be powerful, but wicked always wins. She stopped, but I'm gonna keep singing. Now she's gonna continue. I'll give her a magic gift to bring the charmings down. When Madrina stands victorious, I'll swoop right into town. When he learns the spell is mine, oh Rumple, he will see. I don't have a girl's voice. She could have chosen me. So I will fly into tomorrow, delighted in her sorrow. As in pain, better day begins. I don't know the words anymore. Strive. Nobody's gonna stop me. No evil's gonna taunt me. The wicked always wins. A happy ending will be mine, 'cause wicked always wins. And I decided to go too high. Yep. Yep. I mean, the Wicked Witch and Regina are now better sisters, right? Ever since that one episode we started out tonight with. Oh, Rumple's still the potion. Rumple! Double crosser! Double crosser! You always do this on the show. Honestly, your character is so toxic. Why are you even on Once Upon a Time? You're ruining the show. Yeah. Emma's vision is coming back to haunt her. Remember how she died in the final battle? She had a trouble using her magic because of her fate. And so anyway, she can't defeat the Black Fairy because of her troubled hand again. Just like Aladdin's. Man, Emma, you just gotta brave up. You just gotta brave up and not fight alone, obviously. Apparently that's the message they're trying to throw across. Okay, Henry and Emma are about to have a moment, but I really need to ruin this to give you one more reason you should like this musical episode. Okay, unlike other people who steal songs, a lot of people thought for the musical episode of Once Upon a Time they were going to borrow songs from Disney that have already existed. No, they did not. They found musical directors who are Broadway experiencers and to come onto the show and help write the musical episode. They made up songs. These songs are original. Like they're original. They work with the plot. I've already given that reason. And these characters are the ones singing it, not someone else's voice being mouthing the words. Like this is like the only real musical episode out there. Other shows will not do anything like this. They'll either have the characters lip sync, maybe the characters will sing, but they're songs you already know, or they won't work with the plot and they kind of sidetrack everything. Like sometimes musical episodes will not only distract from the main plot, but they will also, sometimes musical episodes will just slow it down even more, you know. So Once Upon a Time does none of those things. It's a one of a kind musical episode that works perfect with the show, the mythology. It doesn't ruin character arcs, only strengthens them even more. And they have a reason to sing because they're cursed to do it. Now it looks like the curse is not perfect because they have times when they can talk too. But like when they're singing voices on, they have no control over it. So there you go. Anyway, if none of these reasons are a reason for you like the musical episode, well, too bad. It's a Disney show anyway. If you like Frozen, you like The Lion King, and you like all those, then this is no different. It's just like Disney. It's just Disney. If this wasn't a fairy tale Disney show mashup, then I would understand. Some people who don't like musicals have one exception to Once Upon a Time. I don't know, and I've only met even one person who's never seen the show before. Just basically recently, a few months ago, made a review about hating it. No one usually hates the show. That one person is I don't know who he is. He's just insane. But not naming names, but this is has to be an exception. Come on, guys. Okay. This is just we've heard these songs before. Powerful Magic versus Love Doesn't Stand a Chance. It's just a singing dance off. So reprise. So we've already seen this. However, there is one thing I'm gonna sing. That's different from the original song. Here we go. You ready? You ready? They're just battle singing each other. But wait until the end. Wait until the end. Evil Queen adds near same music, but same music, but the Evil Queen adds new lyrics to her song. You ready? You ready? This is one I can sing well. Got you where I want you now. Your spell will soon be broken. Let us see how strong you are when everything is spoken. Meaning you can't sing anymore. She's taking the curse away. Hey, they were trying to break it anyway. They were trying to break it anyway. They just wanted to use their song to defeat you first. Looks like you don't have to worry about breaking this curse. Evil Queen did it for you. Yep, yep, you can't sing. Ha ha ha. See, it was all part of the story. They were cursed. They had no choice, and now that they have choices, they can't sing because they don't want to, or they even when they try, they don't have their. The Evil Queen did worse than break the curse. He took their singing voices, so they can only talk. Hmm. Boy, what little time you have left as a family. Your family's about to be destroyed. No. So, if you're wondering, this is not the end of the musical episode. And this is how. Let me listen to this. We got 10 minutes left. Just listen to this. There's still two more songs left. Hmm. So, Blue Fairy just revealed this to us. She granted the wish on a star. She's the wish upon a star. And she wished everyone she was a she would she granted the wish for everyone to sing their hearts out. And unfortunately, singing doesn't help someone win a battle, but knowing the blue fairy, knowing the prophecy of the saviors, and not telling Snow White because she doesn't want Snow White to be an evil black fairy, right? Not telling Snow White that Emma's going to die, obviously, but telling Snow White that Emma's going to face a big battle and she's going to have to do it alone. Snow White has at least a little bit of hope to know that Emma won't be alone. Because even when she is alone and her family members are not there, she can use the songs in her heart. Like she can have everyone's song inside her and she can feel their love just from her heart. You don't need a song to do that technically. You could feel someone's love without singing about it. But still, that's a great cover up for why she gave that wish. And it explains why fairy tales were singing in Disney movies. Once upon a time's twist of doing it was making everyone put everyone under a song spell, kind of like a love spell, but a song spell. That was not broken by Trilla's kiss, obviously. It was broken by Evil Queen taking your singing voices. Not your real voice. Not like Ariel, not like Ursula, but like just your singing part. That's kind of funny. So anyway, and then how is Emma gonna if we and Blue Fairy cast a spell so everyone would forget that they ever sang in the first place? So then that way it covers all plot holes about meeting Hook and stuff. However, however, how will Emma know that the songs of everyone are in her heart if no one remembers singing them? Well, you just have to have hope they'll come to the surface. And this is the time that Emma's song will finally come to the surface. You'll just have to hope that one day she'll know. And this is it. This is when she finds out. Because Henry just found the page in the sheriff's station of them being under a singing spell. He's going to take that page to Emma. Yep, see, there he is. Look, look, look. You're never alone. You have the songs of everyone inside you, right? They're going to use a song to try to defeat the Black Fairy. That's funny. So I guess I can see your reason for no singing in the present because she's not under a singing spell. Emma's not under a singing spell. So why is she singing? You know, just because her parents were forced to sing in the past doesn't mean she has to. But if you remember, Emma grew up an orphan and she was alone. She was alone. So, she doesn't have hope or anybody to watch out for her. So, why not just sing about your misery and then your blessings later in life? Because everyone else sang in the past, they had to have the main character in the present because she wasn't part of the past. Inspire them, be brave. They gave me up because my fate was as the one you save. The world from your dark magic and the wicked things you do. They placed a song inside my heart more powerful than you. Go on, Mom. Go on, Emma. You got this. I was saying Henry's line. All the years of running. No, not anymore. I know what I'm living for. I'm no longer sorry. I'm just imagining what you guys are saying right now. Turns out all along, the answer was inside me with a song. Ben, stop singing. And if I keep singing, you're probably going to click off. Sorry. There's still one more song. Oh man, don't leave, guys. Don't leave. Unfortunately, the song did not defeat the Black Fairy, but it stopped her from crushing Emma's heart. So that's good and bad. Good that Emma's not dying this episode, not dying tomorrow, as the Black Fairy said. But the final battle is still happening. So now you have your answers of why Emma didn't die this episode and why we still have 2 episodes left of the season. Guys, in those episodes, two-parter season finale starts next week, guys. We're gonna finish the season next week. We could have finished tonight if it weren't for the cruise ship. We could have finished last week if it weren't for me being sick in the fall. And if I didn't choose a date over a marathon, we could have finished 2 weeks ago. Sorry. We are behind schedule, I know. It's fine. We'll finish season 6 by the end of April. Perfect, because May's my birthday month. Sad to be in season 7 by that point, but that's fine. Musical episode is my favorite, but that's okay. Yes, I am a fan of musicals, so who am I to say for those who aren't? But you should have an exception to Once Upon a Time. I mean, unless you don't like Disney movies, you don't like Snow White, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, you don't like those classic movies, okay? Then that's fine. I appreciate your opinion. But if you like Disney movies and somehow hate musicals, like at least musical episodes of TV shows, come on. This is a literally Disney fairy tale movie. You're like watching Let It Go, Frozen here. This used to be the one Disney movie that didn't have songs in it. I mean, Zootopia doesn't. There's a lot of songs that don't. Modern Disney movies that don't. But the ones that Walt Disney made back in the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the 20s, that's only Mickey Mouse. Sorry. He didn't make his first movie until 1937. But I'm talking about 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the Renaissance era. This is the only Renaissance kind of movie that would not have songs in it until now. Come on. It's supposed to represent Disney and fairy tales. Even though it's taking place in the modern world. It's not meant to be like those other TV shows. It's fairy tales for family, kids of all ages. Hook and Emma are making their wedding vows, I know, and I should shut up while they're having their wedding, but this is a commentary for a reason. So if you didn't want me talking during the episode or singing, you should have probably watched it first and then watched my commentary on it. But anyway, yeah. Wow, what a musical episode, guys. It was fun. Aww. And Emma's vow, I love it. She goes like, I was alone. I was all alone in my life until Henry found me, took me to Storybrooke, and brought me home to my family. And she learned. Just because she learned, that comes from true love doesn't mean you won't find it. Yep. Good vow. Good vow. Good wedding vow from Emma. Recapping her whole childhood and Now she went from being an orphan to being left by a whole family of her own of fairy tales. Imagine you found out you're an orphan and you found out that your family comes from a fairy tale land. You're like, what? I'm a fairy tale character? What? Anyway, we haven't really seen Jiminy Cricket in a while. He has not been appearing a lot in the show after season 1 and 2. I mean, he has appeared a lot more in season 6. They try to give him more screen time, but it was really for therapy on Emma's visions of the future. And then when she kind of didn't need therapy anymore, Archie fell off the grid a little bit. Except to be the Wicked Witch's puppet for her baby in the Captain Nemo episode. I don't think Archie's been here since the second half of season 6, though. Last episode, last song, guys, and then if you hate musicals, you won't have to worry about it. Just one more song. Let's do this. Tomorrow is uncertain. Who knows what it will bring? The episode literally ends after the song. It's a perfect happy ending. Except we got our final battle next week, so not quite a happy ending. But it will be next week. Is the way these stories go. Some people argue that why did we have the musical episode now? Why isn't the musical episode the season finale, huh? Why can't have this episode be the end of the season? And if there wasn't going to be a season 7, why can't this be the series finale? Why not end the series with the musical episode? Good question. I don't know. This would have been a perfect way to end it. But there's always more. Once Upon a Time's never known for its ending. It always continues. Not after season 7, though. They could have made that series finale another musical episode. We could have had a musical episode with the new cast, the reboot cast. Come on. Actually, with the old cast, why didn't we get a musical episode every season? One episode every season would have been okay for me. Maybe not okay for some of you other fans who hate musicals. But those who love musicals, do you agree we could have had one for each season? Like I heard some first-time reactors who loved musical episodes, and they were upset. It was like, it's about time. I was wondering why there wasn't one. I mean, I guess you didn't know the characters, and you had to get used to the characters and you had to establish everything before. Still, we kind of had a decent knowing after season 1. You could have done it for season 2. Anyway, it's fine. They didn't know how they could do it without ruining the franchise until now, so fine. And for those who hate musicals, it's better to have one than multiple, right? I mean, you would rather have 0, but if you had to be stuck with one musical episode, wouldn't you at least agree that one's better than a lot? There's no star we can outrun. We will always find the sun. Leave the past in all its scars. A happy beginning now is ours. My voice is tiring. Amazing stars. I want to finish this. I'm going to try my hand and join the fight. Cross the clouds will. My voice is tired now. I can't sing because I talk too much. A happy beginning now is ours. Okay, breathe. A happy beginning now is ours. That was better. Man, I know I'm horrible, okay? We're done now, though. Yay. Episode's ending. That was the last song. Here we go. Black Fairy's Curse. Emma and Hook just exchanged vows. They kissed the bride, and now the party's over, and they're dancing. But now the Black Fairy interrupts with her curse. As much as they wanted to not have the Black Fairy interrupt and wanted to stop her, unfortunately that was not in the cards. So Emma's wedding was as interrupted as Snow Charming's. Oh well. Where's the curse taking them anyway, by the way? We never discussed that discussion at all. Where's the curse even taking them? It doesn't matter because we're going to win, right? Let the final battle begin! As the curse washes over Emma and Hook, the bride and groom. And we go to credits. Okay. The final battle has now begun. But we won't watch it till next week. Our literal next episode for next week is Final Battle Part 1, Final Battle Part 2. There's not a Part 3. But the way we're going to watch 3 episodes is a recap special. I know you think we don't need it. We're really at almost the end of the season. And if it weren't for season 7, the end of the show. But as much as we have to say goodbye to our characters, we also got to say goodbye to the cast. Even if a couple of them are returning for season 7, most of them are going bye-bye. This is like the series finale for them. So anyway, final battle next week, guys. Final battle next week. Until then, until we meet again. It's 9:29. Didn't give ourselves 15 minutes to discuss. Talked too much. Started too late. I started on time. 6:50. No, not even a second late. One live stream started early, of course. But anyway, I talked for 15 minutes instead of 10 before the show. And this is why when we do season 7, I'm no longer going to start 10 minutes early because that always becomes a problem. But anyway, one more night of starting at 6:50 and going till 9:30 on a Sunday night, maybe. I need to tell you the votes. So yes, I talked about the special already. It's kind of weird because we're used to Once Upon a Time specials being at the beginning or middle of the season, not at the end. The only time it's been at the end was season 2, and that was 4 episodes before the end of the season. This is only 2 episodes, or you could say 1 because it's a double length episode cut in half. But they did this because the cast wanted to say goodbye. So next week we will get to say goodbye to the cast, and then we'll watch a big 2-hour finale, or an hour and a half because we're not doing commercial breaks. But it will be 2 hours if you count the special. And here's the funny thing: the special recap episode is called "The Final Battle Begins." I wish it was called Part 1. Then there would be a Part 3. But no, it's called Final Battle Begins, and then we got Part 1, Part 2. So it's interesting because usually Once Upon a Time episodes titles are never reused more than once. Like, they're used only twice at most. Operation Mongoose Part 1 and 2, we had to watch the episode Tide Mother before that. Smash the Mirror Part 1 and 2, we had to watch the Snow Queen before that. But, like, no, our only title for next week is The Final Battle. It's the only title that's used 3 times. And because we only watch 3 episodes a night, it's going to just be Final Battle night. So I'll see you in the Final Battle, I guess. We're going to finish the season. For some of you, maybe the whole series. But if you want to stick around for season 7, I'd be happy to do that for you. I want to try to change it to a different day, though, because I'm in an... Once Upon a Time may not be on the air. Just like the Black Fairy said. You may not be the savior anymore, but one still stands. Same thing. Once Upon a Time may not be on the air anymore, but something else that's on the air is on the air. And so anyway, I just got to say this really quick before I wrap up my live stream. Just because Once Upon a Time has ended and it's always going to be my favorite show doesn't mean I'm going to live under a rock. I watch other television shows, and there is another show that airs on Sunday nights at 7, and I chose to miss it just for you guys. So I hope you watch my live stream tonight because I sacrificed my TV show for my Once Upon a Time Oncers. Anyway, I need to go watch the new episode of that now. That show just started their season premiere tonight, and they're having another episode next week. So we gotta stop doing these on Sunday nights at some point, so I can enjoy that show when it's live. So yes, I do want to change the day. So let me tell you really quick. Let me tell you the tally marks. Not everyone has voted, but for the few people that do, let me tell you the tally marks that I wrote down. So for we have 2 votes for Thursdays, 2 votes for Fridays, 1 vote for Sunday. And so, yeah, we pretty much have a tie between Thursday and Friday. So I'm not telling you when we're doing season 7, but it doesn't look like we're going to do it on Sundays anymore. So 2 for Friday, 2 for Thursday. I could use more votes, and if Sunday gets more, we might stay on Sundays. Who knows? We're still doing it on Sunday next week to finish season 6, but who knows if we're going to do the marathon on Sundays. I really don't want to because of the other show I'm watching. It's called The Way Home. It's on Hallmark Channel. Anyway, as much as I love fairy tales, I love time travel. Anyway, it's a pond. Anyway, but for you oncers out there, we have 2 votes for Thursdays, 2 votes for Fridays, 1 vote for Sunday, and this is going across every social media platform. You see, not a lot of people has voted. Then for how many episodes a week, we have 3 votes for 3 episodes, 1 vote for 2, 2 votes for 1, and then 0 votes for no season 7 at all. Imagine if all of you voted for no season 7. Next week would be our last live stream, but it's not. So it looks like we're doing season 7. But, and it looks like people still want 3 episodes a week, which means we will end the marathon at the end of June instead of July, August, or September. But anyway, I did a while back, I posted the schedules for this, but what this could look like with 2 or 1 episode a week. But it looks like a lot of you still want to do 3. But anyway, I could still use more votes. This could change. But you have to vote, and you only have 1 more week to do this. So anyway, I wanted to announce when we were gonna do season 7 tonight, but looks like not a lot of you have voted. It is safe to say that it probably won't be on Sundays anymore. I just don't know which day. Season 7 aired on Fridays back in the day, so if we want to stay nostalgic, we got to move to Fridays. But I also work on Friday nights, so we can't do 3 episodes a night if we do Friday. So it's like if most people voted for 3 episodes, we're going to have to reduce that number if we move to Fridays. If we move to Thursdays, on the other hand, I don't work that night, so we could do 3 episodes again. Anyway, Lot to figure out for season 7, but for now, next Sunday, we'll finish season 6 at our normal time, 7 p.m. Until then, I guess God be with you till we meet again. I have no trailers for this upcoming episode. It's a 2-parter, so that, when there's 2-hour season finales, there's only 1 trailer, not 2. And there's no trailer for recap specials usually. So I only have 1 trailer for you. And it's a bunch, and they didn't even dialogue this trailer. They just put title cards. So let me just tell you what those title cards are. We are at the final quest, the final curse, the final journey, the final battle. Let the final battle begin. Once upon a time, the big 3-hour season finale, if you want to count the recap special. It all starts next week. Until then, peace, okay? Have a great week. Have a great day. I've already said it, but I'll say it one more time because I always like ending with this phrase, especially on the Sabbath. God be with you till we meet again. Bye, y'all. A happy beginning now is ours. Sorry for YouTube. I have to end Facebook first. But you feel free to click off because I'm ending the live stream anyway.